Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into a concept from our source material that pretty much defines the financial lives of millions of people, and a lot of them don't even know it. It's called the slow lane.
All right, let's just jump right in with a quote that really sets the tone, It puts such a sharp point on the conventional life path so many of us are just taught to accept as normal. But when you hear it put like that, is this really the dream we're all supposed to be chasing? And this leads us directly to what the source material calls the lie you've been sold. It's this financial roadmap, the slow lane, and it's so common, so ingrained in our culture that you might be on it right this very second and not even realize it. So what is the slow lane exactly? Well, it's this idea that you sacrifice your today, your time, your youth, your energy, all for the hope of a better tomorrow. The plan is simple, right? Get a job, invest, and wait. But here's the kicker the source points out. It's a huge gamble that this glorious tomorrow will even show up. And this doctrine, we've all heard this a million times, haven't we? Get a good job, grind it out Monday to Friday, scrape together 10% to save, and whatever you do, put off all your real dreams until you're 65. This is the script we're handed, the sort of default setting for a quote-unquote responsible life. But what's the actual cost of following this script? The source gives us a really powerful cautionary tale to show the potential price of this promise, and it's all about a character named Joe. So Joe, he does everything by the book. He gets a respectable degree, lands a good job, and starts playing the game exactly how he's supposed to, trading his time for a paycheck and a 401k. His life pretty quickly falls into this brutal routine. 60-hour weeks are just normal. And his weekends, they're not for fun, not for living. They're just for recharging his batteries enough so he can get up and do it all over again on Monday. Sound familiar? Over time, that spark he had for his job, it's just gone. But he keeps going, telling himself that all this misery is a noble sacrifice. It's the down payment on that rich, happy retirement he was promised down the road. And then the plan just catastrophically fails. Joe has a heart attack and dies at 51. He paid the ultimate price, sacrificing his entire life for a future that he never got to see. You see, Joe's story is meant to highlight what the source calls the flawed slow lane mindset. The argument is that this whole way of life is built on a foundation of beliefs that, when you really look at them, just don't add up. And here are the core beliefs of the slow laner. Time is something you have tons of, so you can just trade it away for a paycheck. Money is super scarce, so you have to pinch every penny. Your job is your only shot at making a living. And all of this leads to a life where you're constantly playing defense, always settling for less, and letting those big, exciting dreams just fade away. Now, this is where it gets really interesting, because the math behind this whole mindset is, well, it's just broken. The source claims that the wealth equation at the very heart of the slow lane is fundamentally flawed. So here's the formula. Wealth equals your job plus market investments. On the surface, it looks fine. It looks safe. But think about it. The two main parts of this equation, your job and the market, are things you have almost zero control over. Your income at a job has a ceiling, and the market, well, it does what it wants. This formula is built for crawling, not for sprinting. And wow, this table from the source just lays the problem bare. Look at this. An architect might earn $1 million over 16 years of work. Not bad, right? But it would take them 156 years to actually save that million. A teacher, 217 years. The timeline is so incredibly long, it's not a financial plan, it's basically a life sentence. So the really crucial takeaway here is that the engine driving this whole plan, your job, is presented as being totally flawed if your goal is to build real wealth. The source actually identifies several fatal flaws, starting with the biggest one of all. Let's talk about the most fundamental flaw, which the author calls the 5-for-2 trade. It's so simple. You trade 5 days of your life in bondage for just 2 days of freedom. You're literally spending the vast majority of your life just working for the weekend. And what's the return on your investment of time? It's a negative 60%. Seriously, if someone offered you a deal where you give them $5 and they give you $2 back, you'd laugh in their face. But so many of us accept this exact deal with our most precious asset, our time. And here are all 6 of those flaws laid out. You're trading your life for money. You have no real control.
You have to play the office politics game. You end up paying yourself last, after everyone else gets their cut. And your income is dictated to you. The source argues the whole structure of a job is designed to keep you limited, both financially and in your personal freedom. Which all boils down to this final, really provocative question. You are making a trade, 5 days for 2, over and over again for decades. The slow lane demands it. So you really have to stop and ask yourself, what is your freedom actually worth?